Not all wild animals look wild. Some just quietly mind their business until you step into theirs. You'll be surprised how much trouble hides behind the calmest faces. Some of them crawl, some of them fly, some wait in silence. They don't need to be loud to be unforgettable or to leave a mark. From lush jungles to quiet forests and even city streets, these creatures remind us. In nature, it's not always the biggest that demands respect. It's the most unexpected. We often picture danger with sharp teeth, glowing eyes, or thunderous roars. But real danger wears many faces, and not all of them look the part. In this episode, we meet a wide range of creatures. Some are tiny, yet loaded with chemistry. Nature never meant for human contact. Others are massive and majestic until something disturbs their rhythm. And a few, they're just doing what they've done for thousands of years. We're the ones who stepped closer, from venom to instincts, from silence to sudden movement. Each animal you're about to see plays a role, not as a villain, but as a reminder. The wild isn't here to be nice, it's here to be wild. African lion, the king of the jungle, and occasionally the cause of your disappearance. Majestic? Absolutely. Dangerous? You have no idea. The African lion is one of the most iconic animals on the planet. It is the face of wildlife documentaries, royal family crests, and luxury car logos. With its powerful physique, golden mane, and thunderous roar, the lion looks like the perfect symbol of nobility and strength. But behind that regal presence lies a predator that is fast, smart, and completely capable of turning you from safari guest to menu item. A fully grown male lion can weigh up to 500 pounds and reach lengths of 10 feet, including the tail. That is like a giant feline linebacker covered in muscle, teeth, and attitude. Lions can run in short bursts of up to 50 miles per hour. Leap over 30 feet in a single bound. And coordinate group hunts using binds, complex tactics. Yes, teamwork. Not bad for a species that sleeps around 20 hours a day. While the males get all the attention, it is the lionesses who do most of the hunting. These females are incredibly fast, stealthy, and strategic. They circle, they trap, they strike with precision. Think of them as the elite task force of the savannah. And if you think being in a vehicle will protect you, just Google "lion opens car door." Yes, that has happened. Most of the time, lions avoid humans. But when food is scarce, or a lion is injured, sick, or old, we stop being observers and start looking like prey. There have been multiple recorded cases of man-eating lions, including the infamous Tsavo man-eaters in Kenya, which killed over 35 people. In 1898, and no, this was not ancient history. Lion attacks still happen today, especially in areas where human expansion overlaps with lion habitats. Male lions are constantly fighting over pride control, territory, mating rights, and sometimes just ego. These battles are brutal and often deadly. A male lion might kill the cubs of a rival male just to assert dominance and encourage the females to mate with him. So yeah, it is not all sunsets and slow-motion roars out there. It is political, violent, and very high stakes. Male lions are constantly fighting over pride control, territory, mating rights, and sometimes just ego. These battles are brutal and often deadly. A male lion might kill the cubs of a rival male just to assert dominance and encourage the females to mate with him. So, yeah, it is not all sunsets and slow-motion roars out there. It is political, violent, and very high stakes. And that roar, it is not just for show. A lion's roar can be heard from over 5 miles away. It is like nature's megaphone saying, "This land is mine, and I will bite your face off if you disagree." It is used to communicate, intimidate, and sometimes to call the pride together. But when you hear it up close, it is a full-body experience, like being shouted at by a thunderstorm. Respect the crown. Lions are endangered mostly due to habitat loss, poaching, and human-wildlife conflict. So while they are dangerous, they are also vulnerable. They are not villains. They are apex predators, doing what they were built to do. You would not call a storm evil just because it can destroy your house. The African lion is nature's perfect blend of beauty and brutality. It does not need venom, claws like a velociraptor, or stealth tech. It just needs strength, instinct, and a terrifyingly coordinated hunting crew. So when you are on safari and a lion stares at you like you are a walking steak, remember, you are in their house. And this king does not take guests lightly. Great white shark, the ocean's toothiest misunderstanding. Thanks to Jaws, great white sharks have had a PR disaster for decades. One ominous fin above the water and people start sprinting like it's the apocalypse. But is this shark really the bloodthirsty villain everyone thinks it is? Well, kinda. But also, not really. Despite their terrifying rep, great whites don't go around chomping on humans like we're part of some seafood buffet. Most attacks are sample bites. They're basically like, "What's this weird-looking seal?" Chomp. Realize mistake. Swim off awkwardly. Unfortunately, that sample is usually enough to land someone in the ER, or worse. These creatures are built for ambush. They can grow up to 20 feet long, weigh over 2,000 pounds, and launch themselves from the deep at 35 km/h. And the bite? We're talking 4,000 pounds per square inch, enough to turn a surfboard into sawdust. Believe it or not, great whites aren't out for revenge. They're curious, strategic, and often misunderstood. They help control seal populations and maintain balance in marine ecosystems. So, yeah, maybe don't high-five one, but give them some respect. Bottom line, if you see a fin, get out of the water. But also, maybe don't demonize the great white. They're not villains. They're just very large, very toothy, very effective sea wolves trying to live their best shark life. Hippopotamus, the chunky water cow with a rage problem. At first glance, the hippopotamus looks adorable. Chubby cheeks, floppy ears, big yawns. It is like a floaty gray marshmallow just vibing in the river. But do not let that round face fool you. The hippopotamus is one of the most dangerous animals in Africa, responsible for hundreds of human deaths every year. It is not cute, it is chaos, wrapped in a water-loving, semi-aquatic death machine, bigger, faster, angrier than you think. An adult male hippo can weigh over 3,000 pounds, and that is without counting the fury. Despite their massive size, hippos can outrun up to 20 miles per hour on land, which is faster than most humans in a full sprint. And in the water, they do not swim in the traditional sense. They bounce off the bottom like giant aquatic pogo sticks, gliding silently until, boom, you are upside down in your canoe. A hippo's mouth opens a full 180 degrees, and it is armed with tusk-like canines that can grow over 1.5 feet long. That bite force, roughly 2,000 pounds per square inch. That is enough to snap a crocodile in half, and yes, they do fight crocodiles and win. Hippos have been known to bite boats, flip them, and even chase people across land. You know things are serious when a herbivore is actively hunting you down. Hippos are weirdly selective when it comes to aggression. In water, they are hyper-territorial and will defend their space like they are guarding a royal fortress. But on land, they are mostly just cranky and hate surprises. Accidentally walk between a mother and her calf, or block a male's path to the river, and you have officially made a huge mistake. A hippo will not back down. It will charge, crash, and crush anything in its... Why so mad? Nobody knows for sure, but some scientists believe that hippos are naturally antisocial and prefer a tight-knit pod of friends. Add in their poor eyesight, huge testosterone levels, and the stress of human activity in their territory, and you have got a recipe for "I will yeet you into next week" energy. Tourists in Africa have learned the hard way that ignoring warning signs, or worse, getting too close for a selfie, can be deadly. There are countless reports of kayaks being obliterated, safari vehicles being rammed, and fishermen disappearing without a trace. One minute you are enjoying a peaceful river ride, the next you are airborne and rethinking all your life choices. So, what should you do? Stay away. No, seriously. Do not swim near hippos. Do not approach them on foot. Do not paddle past their pod like you are some kind of river whisperer. Respect their space and understand that you are not the main character in this nature documentary. The hippopotamus is living proof that looks can be deceiving. It may look like a sleepy swamp potato, but inside lives a rage monster with the power to destroy anything that crosses its path. So, if you see one yawning near the water, that is not a stretch, that is a warning. American Pit Bull Terrier, man's best friend, or public safety warning. The American Pit Bull Terrier. Just saying the name sparks debate faster than you can say dog park. To some, it is a loyal, affectionate companion with a goofy grin and a heart of gold. To others, it is a walking lawsuit with a tail. This breed has been at the center of headlines, bans, and arguments across the globe, and not without reason. Pit bulls are compact powerhouses. They usually weigh around 60 pounds, but do not let the number fool you. It is all muscle. They have a low center of gravity, massive jaw muscles, and a bite force estimated at 235 pounds per square inch. Combine that with agility, high energy, and a fearless attitude, and you have a dog that is not just strong, it is explosive. So, what makes them dangerous? Let us be clear. Pit bulls are not born evil. But their danger comes from a potent mix of physical power, game-bred instincts, and, most importantly, poor ownership. These dogs were originally bred for bull baiting and later for dog fighting. That history is baked into their DNA. Without proper training, socialization, and boundaries, a pit bull can go from cuddly couch potato to neighborhood headline very quickly. The numbers do not lie. According to reports between 2005 and 2017, Pit bulls were responsible for more fatal dog attacks in the United States than any other breed, totaling over 280 deaths. That is a heavy statistic, especially when you consider they make up only about 6% of the dog population. Whether that is due to irresponsible owners, backyard breeding, or the media hyping every incident, the numbers are hard to ignore. Now, here is the twist. With the right environment, pit bulls can be absolute angels. They are smart, eager to please, and deeply loyal. Many are therapy dogs, police dogs, or family pets that snuggle under blankets and think they are lap dogs. The real issue is that this breed demands responsibility, and not everyone is ready for that. Bad dog or bad owner? When you put a pit bull in the hands of someone who trains with love, patience, and structure, you get a solid, trustworthy companion. But give the same dog to someone looking to act tough or run an illegal breeding operation, and you have a potential tragedy waiting to happen. This is why so many cities and countries either ban or heavily restrict pit bull ownership, not because the dog is inherently bad, but because the risk is high when things go wrong. Should you be afraid? No, but you should be informed. If you see one on the street, it is not automatically a threat, but you should always be cautious around any unfamiliar dog, especially one that was bred to finish fights, not just start them. The American Pit Bull Terrier is living proof that strength without guidance can be dangerous, and that good dogs sometimes get stuck with bad reputations. Respect them, raise them right, or leave them to someone who will. This is not a breed for casual owners. This is a breed for people who understand that love sometimes comes with a muzzle and a whole lot of responsibility. Bullet ant, the insect that turns pain into a full-body experience. It is easy to underestimate the bullet ant. It looks like a regular oversized ant, maybe something you would swat off your leg without a second thought. But that, dear reader, would be your first and last mistake of the day. Found mostly in the rainforests of Central and South America, this ant is armed with the Yauho, most painful sting in the insect kingdom. And yes, it does feel like getting shot. That is not an exaggeration. It is where the name bullet ant comes from. Entomologist Justin Schmidt, who literally ranked insect stings for science, yes, that is a job, rated the bullet ant as a solid level 4+ on his pain scale, the absolute maximum. To put that in perspective, he described the sting as pure, intense, brilliant pain, like walking over flaming charcoal with a 3-inch nail embedded in your heel. Not exactly a soothing experience. What happens when it stings you? First comes the sting, delivered by a long, sharp stinger, loaded with ponerotoxin, a neurotoxic peptide that messes with your nerves like they owe it money. Within seconds, you will feel a searing, electric jolt that shoots through your body. Then comes the full-body trembling, nausea, sweating, and sometimes temporary paralysis. Oh, and the pain can last up to 24 hours. That is right, a full day of burning agony from one bite-sized insect. Why so extra, ant? Bullet ants do not sting for fun. They use that pain as a weapon of last resort to defend their colony, their queen, and their honor, probably. They are not aggressive without cause, but if you mess with their nest or just happen to step too close during a hike, prepare to experience pain on a cellular level. In some indigenous Amazonian tribes, boys must endure the stings of hundreds of bullet ants. As part of their rite of passage into manhood, the ants are woven into ceremonial gloves, and the boys must wear them for minutes at a time while remaining still. Think about that the next time you feel brave for getting a paper cut. Can they kill you? Ood News. Probably not. Unless you are allergic or stung repeatedly, a bullet ant is unlikely to be fatal. But the pain? It is unforgettable. It is the kind of thing that makes grown people cry, scream, and question all their life choices. There is no fast cure, only time, ice packs, and emotional recovery. If you are hiking in bullet ant territory, hello, Amazon rainforest, wear proper boots, avoid disturbing fallen logs or tree bases, and never poke their nest. If you see one ant, there are probably hundreds more nearby, all carrying little hypodermic nightmares on their backsides. The bullet ant is not the largest, fastest, or most venomous creature on this list. But when it comes to sheer, mind-melting pain, it is in a league of its own. Sometimes, the scariest things in nature are not the biggest. They are just the ones willing to hurt you the most. For the longest, with the smallest body. Good news. Probably not. Unless you are allergic or stung repeatedly, a bullet ant is unlikely to be fatal. But the pain? It is unforgettable. It is the kind of thing that makes grown people cry, scream, and question all their life choices. There is no fast cure, only time, ice packs, and emotional recovery. If you are hiking in bullet ant territory, hello, Amazon rainforest, wear proper boots, avoid disturbing fallen logs or tree bases, and never poke their nest. If you see one ant, there are probably hundreds more nearby, all carrying little hypodermic nightmares on their backsides. The bullet ant is not the largest, fastest, or most venomous creature on this list. But when it comes to sheer, mind-melting pain, it is in a league of its own. Sometimes, the scariest things in nature are not the biggest. They are just the ones willing to hurt you the most, for the longest, with the smallest body. If you are hiking in bullet ant territory, hello, Amazon rainforest, wear proper boots, avoid disturbing fallen logs or tree bases, and never poke their nest. If you see one ant, there are probably hundreds more nearby, all carrying little hypodermic nightmares on their backsides. The bullet ant is not the largest, fastest, or most venomous creature on this list, but when it comes to sheer, mind-melting pain, it is in a league of its own. Sometimes, the scariest things in nature are not the biggest. They are just the ones willing to hurt you the most, for the longest, with the smallest body. The bullet ant is not the largest, fastest, or most venomous creature on this list, but when it comes to sheer, mind-melting pain, it is in a league of its own. Sometimes, the scariest things in nature are not the biggest. They are just the ones willing to hurt you the most, for the longest, with the smallest body. Brazilian wandering spider, the eight-legged nightmare. You do not want in your shoes. Meet the Brazilian wandering spider, also known by its charming nickname, the banana spider. Why? Because sometimes it hides in banana shipments. Yep. You go to make a smoothie, and boom, spider attack. Unlike your average corner-dwelling spider roommate, this one does not build webs or politely hang out in the ceiling corner. It wanders, hence the name, and it wanders right into homes, shoes, laundry piles, and dark closets, which, you know, is comforting. Size? Not huge. Drama? Off the charts. Physically, it is not the size that gets you. Brazilian wandering spiders are about 5 to 6 inches across when their legs are stretched. That is roughly the size of your hand. But it is not their size that terrifies scientists and spider haters alike. It is what is inside them. Their venom is loaded with potent neurotoxins, strong enough to paralyze you, stop your breathing, and shut down your nervous system faster than you can say, "Not today, Satan." Let us be clear, this spider does not want to bite you. But when it does, the symptoms are straight out of a horror movie. Victims report intense pain, cold sweats, drooling, difficulty breathing, full body paralysis, and, for males, something very awkward. The venom causes prolonged, painful erections, which means the spider does not just ruin your day, it ruins it in the most humiliating way possible. You know how most spiders stick to quiet corners? Not this one. The Brazilian wandering spider actively hunts. It goes out at night looking for food and shelter, and sometimes that means your bedroom floor or your laundry basket. There have been confirmed cases of these spiders biting people in supermarkets, hotel rooms, and, yes, right inside their shoes. You are now going to check your shoes for the rest of your life. You are welcome. Thankfully, there is anti-venom. Unthankfully, it is not always nearby when the spider strikes. Brazil has reported hundreds of bites per year, and while not all are fatal, the danger is very real, especially for children, the elderly, or anyone with medical conditions. Without quick medical treatment, the bite can turn deadly within hours. So, what's the takeaway? Look, we all appreciate a bold, independent spider that does not rely on webs. But this one takes it too far. It is like the Jason Bourne of arachnids, stealthy, aggressive, and terrifyingly efficient. Moral of the story: shake out your shoes, inspect your bananas, and pray it never wanders into your life. Grizzly bear, the forest's fuzzy freight train of fury. At first glance, a grizzly bear might not seem like the most terrifying creature. With its thick fur, round ears, and lumbering walk, it almost looks huggable. But unless your idea of a hug involves being slammed into the dirt by a 700-pound sequel muscle-bound carnivore, it is best to admire this beast from a distance, a very safe distance. Grizzly bears can grow up to 8 feet tall when standing on their hind legs, and their bite force clocks in at way over 1,100 pounds per square inch. Enough to crush a bowling ball. Their claws? Up to 4 inches long. Curved like meat hooks and sharper than your uncle's fishing knife. These are not claws for decoration. They are tools of destruction, ideal for digging dens or opening you like a granola bar. You might think you could outrun a grizzly in the open. After all, it is a big animal. Surely it is slow, right? Wrong. A grizzly can run up to 35 miles per hour. That is faster than a racehorse at full gallop. Unless you are Usain Bolt sprinting downhill on a motorcycle, you are not getting away. And climbing a tree? Not helpful. Grizzlies can climb too, and their version of cardio is rage-powered. Most grizzly attacks on humans are not predatory. The bear is not stalking you like a wolf or planning a strategic ambush. Most attacks are the result of a surprise encounter, especially with a mother and her cubs. You accidentally walk into her space? She does not ask questions, she charges. And the goal is not to scare you, it is to remove you from existence. Grizzly attacks are the stuff of legend and trauma. Survivors describe being bitten, clawed, and tossed around like rag dolls. Even when people live, they often come away with shattered bones, deep lacerations, and a lifelong fear of every rustle in the woods. Some people play dead and survive. Others fight back with bear spray. A few get lucky, but make no mistake, if a grizzly wants you gone, the odds are not in your favor. Where you will find them, hopefully without incident. Grizzlies live in North America, mostly in Alaska, western Canada, and parts of the northwestern United States like Montana and Wyoming. National parks, such as Yellowstone, are home to hundreds of them, and while attacks are rare compared to the number of visitors, they do happen. Always carry bear spray, stay in groups, and never, ever keep snacks in your tent. Grizzlies are not evil. They are just wild animals doing what they have always done, protecting themselves, their young, and their turf. And they are essential to the ecosystem. They help control prey populations, spread seeds, and even aerate soil with their digging. But none of that matters if you treat a bear like a zoo exhibit. This is not Disneyland. This is nature, raw, real, and covered in fur. The grizzly bear is a living contradiction, majestic and terrifying, beautiful and brutal. It does not need venom or stealth. It is nature's original tank, powered by muscle, instinct, and the occasional hiker who got too close. So, if you are heading into bear country, remember one thing. They were there first, and they fight like it. Saltwater crocodile. Basically a living dinosaur with an attitude. Crocodile or monster from the Mesozoic era. Let us talk about a creature that basically said, evolution? Nah, I am good. The saltwater crocodile, often called salty by people who like to play it dangerously, is the largest living reptile on the planet, and quite possibly the closest thing we have to a real-life dinosaur. These beasts are not just big, they are apex predators with zero chill. And when I say apex, I mean they literally eat everything: fish, birds, buffalo, sharks, and yes, sometimes humans. Size matters, and so does the bite. Your average adult male saltwater crocodile can grow to over 20 feet long and weigh more than 1 ton. That is roughly the length of a pickup truck and the weight of a small car. Now add in a bite force of over 3,700 pounds per square inch, the strongest bite in the entire animal kingdom. That is enough pressure to crush bone, metal, and probably your soul. The salty does not come at you roaring like a bear. No, it lurks, silently, motionless, floating just below the water's surface, eyes and nostrils barely visible. It waits, and when the moment is right, it explodes from the water with shocking speed and pulls you into a death roll. That is where it spins rapidly with its prey clamped in its jaws, not for show, but to rip limbs clean off. Pleasant stuff, right? Unlike other crocodiles, saltwater crocs are not picky about habitat. They live in rivers, estuaries, mangroves, beaches, and have even been spotted far out at sea. That is right. These creatures can literally surf the ocean, waiting for the next island buffet. And they are extremely territorial. If you so much as exist near their space, They are ready to launch full-on beast mode. In parts of northern Australia and Southeast Asia, warning signs near rivers are not a joke. They are survival tips. They remember you, and not in a good way. Saltwater crocodiles are shockingly intelligent. They observe patterns. If you collect water from the same riverbank at the same time every day, guess who is going to be waiting for you one of those mornings? This is not just a reptile. This is a calculating, cold-blooded predator with a memory. There is no real way to fight one off if it gets a hold of you. Your best bet? Do not get caught in the first place, and forget climbing trees or trying to outrun one. These reptiles can gallop on land at over 10 miles per hour, faster than most people can run over rough terrain. In water, you do not even stand a chance. Respect the salty. Admire it from afar. Never swim where they live. And if you ever see a suspiciously still log floating in murky water, turn around. You are not in a nature documentary. You are in a survival scenario. African elephant, the gentle giant that might flatten your Jeep, big, majestic, and occasionally furious. Let us be clear. The African elephant is one of the most awe-inspiring animals on Earth. It is massive, intelligent, emotional, and social. Watching one walk across the savannah feels like watching a living monument. But behind those gentle eyes and flapping ears is the power to turn a vehicle into modern art. Yes, elephants are mostly peaceful, but when they decide they are not, you are in trouble, and I mean get trampled into the ground kind of trouble. An adult African elephant can weigh up to 6 tons. That is about the same as 2 large SUVs stacked on top of each other. Its tusks? Up to 7 feet long and sharp enough to pierce through tree trunks. And despite their size, these animals are surprisingly fast, capable of charging at speeds of up to 25 miles per hour. That is faster than most people can sprint, especially while screaming and trying not to drop their phone. An adult African elephant can weigh up to 6 tons. That is about the same as 2 large SUVs stacked on top of each other. Its tusks? Up to 7 feet long and sharp enough to pierce through tree trunks. And despite their size, these animals are surprisingly fast, capable of charging at speeds of up to 25 miles per hour. That is faster than most people can sprint, especially while screaming and trying not to drop their phone. Why so angry? Elephants are not born aggressive. In fact, they are known to mourn their dead, recognize themselves in mirrors, and form lifelong family bonds. But when humans mess with their territory, or worse, threaten their young, the gentle giant turns into a 1-ton wrecking machine. Farmers in Africa know this well. Crop raids by elephants can escalate quickly into all-out destruction, with fences knocked down, property smashed, and the occasional unfortunate cow flung across a field. Want an extra dose of chaos? Meet musth, a hormonal state adult males enter during mating season. Think of it like elephant rage mode. Testosterone levels shoot through the roof, and they become hyper-aggressive. During musth, even other elephants steer clear. And that is saying something. If you see a bull elephant with dark, wet streaks on the side of his face, that is a giant red flag. Or in this case, a 6-ton tusk-swinging flag with attitude. Despite their occasional rampages, elephants are still vital to their ecosystems. They dig water holes, spread seeds, and create paths in dense forests that other animals use. In short, They are like the landscapers of the wild, with very bad tempers if you catch them on the wrong day. So, should you be afraid? Not necessarily. But you should definitely be cautious and respectful. Keep your distance, stay quiet, and never, ever try to take a selfie with one in the wild. This is not a zoo. This is real life. And if an elephant decides you are in its way, you will not win that argument. Black Mamba, the fast, furious, and fully loaded snake of nightmares. Not just deadly. This one's a legend. If there were a horror movie about snakes, the Black Mamba would be the main villain, the sequel, and the unexpected jump scare. All at once. Native to sub-Saharan Africa, this snake is feared across the continent. And with good reason. It is one of the fastest, most venomous, yawned, and most aggressive Hindas snakes on the planet. The name Black Mamba actually comes from the inky color inside its mouth, which you will see if it is about to absolutely ruin your day. The Black Mamba can grow up to 14 feet long, making it the longest venomous snake in Africa. But it is not just big, it is lightning fast. This serpent can slither at speeds of up to 12 miles per hour. That might not sound like much until you remember it is moving across uneven terrain while you are tripping over your own legs and screaming. For a snake, that is Usain Bolt with a tail. Let us talk about what really makes this snake notorious. Its venom. A single bite delivers enough neurotoxins to kill 10 to 20 adult humans. And it does so in horrifying fashion. Within minutes, symptoms begin. Tingling around the mouth, double vision, difficulty breathing, and paralysis. Left untreated, death can occur in as little as 20 minutes. Which is why the Black Mamba was once called the kiss of death. Before the development of effective antivenom, a Black Mamba bite was essentially a death sentence. Even now, survival depends on getting treatment almost immediately. That means rural bites, where hospitals are hours away, often end badly. The venom works fast, shutting down the nervous system and eventually the lungs. Victims suffocate while fully conscious. Yes, it is as terrifying as it sounds. Most snakes will try to slither away when they encounter humans. Not the Black Mamba. If it feels cornered, it will raise its upper body off the ground, flare its hood cobra style, open its pitch-black mouth, and hiss. And if you do not back off fast enough, it will strike multiple times in rapid succession. There are even reports, hotly debated but persistent, of Black Mambas chasing humans over short distances. Whether that is true or panic-induced urban legend, it feels true when it happens. Why so intense? The Black Mamba is not evil. It is just extremely efficient at defending itself. It lives in a dangerous environment, filled with large predators and nosy humans. Its aggression is really just preemptive self-defense. In other words, it does not want to fight you. It just assumes it has to. The best defense against a Black Mamba? Avoid it completely. If you are hiking in southern or eastern Africa, stay on marked paths. Wear long pants and never reach into holes or under rocks. If you see one, slowly back away. Do not try to play Snake Whisperer. You will lose. The Black Mamba is not just a snake. It is a symbol of everything wild and unforgiving in nature. It is fast, venomous, and alarmingly bold. If you ever find yourself in its territory, respect its space, and maybe send a quiet, "Please no," into the universe. Because once the black mamba shows its fangs, your options get very, very limited. Cape buffalo, Africa's four-legged tank with no patience for tourists. The Cape buffalo may not have the sleek look of a big cat or the dramatic flair of an elephant, but do not let that fool you. This animal has earned the nickname the Black Death, and not just for dramatic effect. Found throughout sub-Saharan Africa, the Cape buffalo is responsible for killing more hunters on the continent than any other large animal. And the reason? It does not play games. A full-grown Cape buffalo can weigh between 100 and 2,000 pounds, stand over 5 feet tall at the shoulder, and is basically one giant muscle with a pair of deadly horns attached. Those horns? They are fused at the base to form a massive helmet-like structure called a boss, and they are used to ram, gore, flip, and flatten anything that gets in the way, including lions, Land Rovers, and, unfortunately, humans. What makes the Cape buffalo especially dangerous is not just its size, it is the unpredictability. Most large animals will flee when threatened. The Cape buffalo? Sometimes it runs away. Other times it just turns, stares you down, and charges at full speed. With no warning, if injured, it may circle back and ambush its attacker from behind. That is not wildlife behavior. That is a mafia move. Hunters fear this animal not because it is aggressive by nature, but because it is vindictive. Wounded Cape buffalo have been known to track and kill the person who shot them. They wait in the bush, completely silent, until their target walks past, and then charge from point-blank range. This behavior has earned them a spot in Africa's so-called Big Five, the 5 most dangerous animals to hunt on foot. Even apex predators like lions approach Cape buffalo herds with caution. Lions usually only go after calves or sick individuals, because taking on a full-grown bull can result in serious injury or death. In fact, Cape buffaloes have been documented rescuing herd members from lion attacks, goring lions mid-hunt, and chasing entire prides off their kill. One buffalo can send a pride of lions running like terrified house cats. Cape buffaloes are extremely social animals, often seen in herds of several hundred. That is a lot of hooves, horns, and collective attitude to deal with. If one buffalo charges, it can trigger a chain reaction. In some cases, entire herds have turned back to confront a threat, overwhelming it through sheer brute force. Every year, there are numerous reports of Cape buffalo attacks on farmers, tourists, and even experienced rangers. Most incidents happen when people unknowingly stumble upon a lone buffalo or a herd in thick brush. And when it charges, you have seconds to react, if that. How to avoid getting steamrolled. Keep your distance. These are not animals to approach for a photo op. Stay alert in tall grass or bushy areas. Never assume it is running away. That U-turn might be coming. If one stares you down, back off, slowly, and maybe start saying your goodbyes, just in case. The Cape buffalo does not need venom, claws, or speed. It just needs attitude, a short fuse, and 2 tons of horned muscle. It is nature's wrecking ball, quiet, unforgiving, and impossible to stop once it is charging. If you ever find yourself on foot in the African bush, remember, The animal you do not see might be the one planning your downfall. Indian red scorpion, the tiny terror with a fatal sting. The Indian red scorpion may look like a creature designed by a cartoon villain. Bright orange-red shell, twitchy pincers, curved tail always ready to strike. But do not be fooled by its flashy exterior. This little arachnid is considered one of the most venomous scorpions on the planet. And unlike some of its cousins that prefer to keep to themselves, this one gets involved. If you are in India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, or Nepal, and you are not paying attention to where you step, this little menace might make sure you remember next time. So, what happens when it stings you? Here is the not-so-fun part. The Indian red scorpion's venom is not just painful, it is a full-body crisis. Within minutes of being stung, victims can experience sweating, vomiting, severe pain, convulsions, and skyrocketing blood pressure. That might sound like an overreaction to a bug bite until the next phase kicks in. Respiratory distress, fluid in the lungs, and in some cases, complete cardiac failure. This thing is not playing games. Due to their smaller body size, children are at a much higher risk of dying from a sting. In rural areas where medical help is far away or delayed, the fatality rate is scarily high, in some studies reaching up to 30%. That means this scorpion is not just a creepy crawler. It is a serious public health threat in the areas it calls home. Why is it so venomous anyway? Like many deadly creatures, the Indian red scorpion did not evolve this venom to ruin your day. It uses its toxin to hunt and subdue prey quickly, usually insects or small animals. But when it feels threatened by, say, a curious barefoot human wandering through the garden or forest, it does not hesitate to sting. It does not give warnings. It does not bluff. While you might expect to find it deep in the wilderness, the Indian red scorpion has no problem cozying up in homes, shoes, bedding, and piles of clothes. It loves warm, dark hiding spots, so your closet or under your bed might be prime real estate. In villages, they are even found hiding in firewood stacks or under rocks. This is why people in high-risk areas shake out everything before putting it on or lying down. There is anti-venom, but it is complicated. Yes, there is an anti-venom, but it is not always effective. And in many cases, patients need additional treatments like blood pressure stabilizers and respiratory support. Also, access to antivenom can be limited in remote areas. That is what makes this scorpion so deadly. It is not just the venom, it is the logistics of survival. How to avoid getting stung. Simple. Be alert. Shake out your clothes, check your shoes, use a flashlight at night, and avoid walking barefoot. It might sound paranoid, but in regions where these scorpions are active, that kind of caution is basic survival. The Indian red scorpion is proof that sometimes the most dangerous animals are not the biggest. They are the ones you do not even see coming. It is a tiny, efficient, and deadly reminder to always respect nature's smallest predators. Because when something the size of your thumb can shut down your heart, you learn to watch your step. Deer, the surprisingly deadly face of the forest. Wait, deer? Really? Yes, deer. Bambi's cousins. The same wide-eyed, grass-munching animals people love to photograph at dawn. Believe it or not, these seemingly harmless herbivores are responsible for more human deaths each year in the United States than bears, wolves, mountain lions, or sharks combined. Not with fangs or venom, but with car accidents. Lots and lots of car accidents. Every year there are over 1.5 million deer vehicle collisions. In the United States alone, these crashes cause around 200 human fatalities, on tens of thousands of injuries, and billions of dollars entrados in vehicle damage and insurance claims. You are statistically more likely to die from hitting a deer with your car than being bitten by a venomous snake or attacked by a grizzly bear. Why so many accidents? Deer are crepuscular, meaning they are most active at dawn and dusk, precisely when visibility is lowest for drivers. Add in high speeds, poorly lit roads, and the fact that deer tend to freeze in headlights rather than bolt, and you have a perfect recipe for disaster. During mating season, usually October through December, they become even more unpredictable, darting across highways without warning like four-legged missiles. Although vehicle collisions are by far the biggest threat, deer can also be dangerous up close. Bucks, especially during rutting season, can become aggressive and territorial. There have been rare cases of deer attacking humans' waikas with their antlers, charging, ramming, and even goring bauha and people when provoked or startled. And let's not forget those viral videos of deer drop-kicking unsuspecting tourists who got too close. Nature has a sense of humor and a sharp rack. The danger with deer is how sudden the threat is. You are cruising down a quiet country road, windows down, music playing, and then, bam. 150 pounds of panicked venison explodes across your windshield. Most drivers have less than 2 seconds to react, and swerving can make things worse, leading to rollovers, head-on collisions, or hitting trees and barriers. If you are in northern regions like Alaska, Canada, or Scandinavia, the stakes get even higher. Moose and elk are part of the deer family, but weigh several times more, up to 500 pounds. Hitting a moose is like colliding with a moving wall on stilts. Their long legs mean their torso often crashes straight through your windshield, and the results are frequently fatal. How to stay safe on the roads. Drive slower in deer-prone areas, especially during dusk and dawn. Watch for signs. Literally. Deer crossing signs are there for a reason. If you see one deer, expect more. They travel in groups. Do not swerve. If a crash is inevitable, brake firmly and try to maintain control of your vehicle. Deer may not look like killers, but they are a sobering reminder that not all threats come with claws, fangs, or venom. Sometimes they come with hooves, poor decision-making skills, and a bad habit of leaping into traffic. So, the next time you see one peacefully grazing on the roadside, slow down. Bambi bites, and sometimes he brings the whole herd with him. Mosquito, the tiny assassin that outscores every predator, the deadliest animal in the world, and it weighs less than a paperclip. You might think the most dangerous animal is a lion, or a shark, or something with fangs, claws, or jaws. But surprise, it is that whiny little bug buzzing around your ear at 3 a.m., the mosquito. This annoying, fragile-looking insect is responsible for more human deaths annually than all predators combined. Lions? Sharks? Please, mosquitoes are out here racking up body counts like it is a full-time job. What makes them so deadly? Hint: it's not the itch. The bite itself is not what kills. It is what the mosquito carries. These insects are disease vectors, which is a fancy way of saying they are tiny, flying syringes for things you really do not want. They spread a long and horrifying list of diseases: malaria, dengue fever, Zika virus, yellow fever, West Nile virus, and chikungunya, just to name a few. Each year, these diseases infect hundreds of millions of people and kill more than 700,000. That is not a typo. That is a catastrophe with wings. Why are they so good at being awful? First of all, they are everywhere, except Antarctica, because even mosquitoes have limits. They breed fast, lay hundreds of eggs at a time, and do not need much to survive. A bottle cap full of water is enough to start a mosquito family reunion. And just to make things worse, only the females bite. They need your blood to make their eggs. So, in a way, they are biting you for the children. Does that make it better? No. No, it does not. Mosquitoes have been around for over 100 million years. They were annoying dinosaurs long before they annoyed us. They have evolved alongside their hosts and gotten very good at what they do. Some species can detect carbon dioxide from over 150 feet away, follow your body heat, and hone in on you with precision. You are basically a walking buffet, and they know it. You almost never feel the bite in the moment. That is because the mosquito's saliva contains enzymes that numb the area and thin your blood, making it easier to drink. But those enzymes are also what cause that itching, swelling, and, in some cases, life-threatening infections. You could get bitten dozens of times and not even know it until you are already scratching your skin like it owes you money. Why have we not wiped them out yet? Good question. Scientists have tried everything: insecticides, mosquito nets, genetic modification, and even mosquito hunting lasers. Yes, really. But the problem is, mosquitoes are highly adaptable, and there are over 3,000 known species. Some carry more dangerous diseases than others, and trying to get rid of one without affecting entire ecosystems is a complex, global puzzle. So, should you be scared? Honestly, a little. While most mosquito bites are harmless, the potential for disease transmission is very real, especially in tropical and subtropical regions. If you are traveling, take precautions. Wear long sleeves, use insect repellent, sleep under mosquito nets, and avoid standing water. That puddle in your backyard? It is basically a 5-star resort for mosquito larvae. Mosquitoes are not just an itchy inconvenience. They are the deadliest creatures humans have ever known, all packed into a body the size of a grain of rice. So the next time you hear that high-pitched whine in your ear at night, do not just swat at it. Declare war. Your life may actually depend on it. Poison dart frog, the tiny rainbow of death. Looks that kill, literally. At first glance, a poison dart frog looks like it just stepped out of a Lisa Frank notebook, all neon blues, bright yellows, and fire truck reds. But that stunning color combo isn't just for show. It's Mother Nature's version of a giant "do not touch" sign. These frogs don't bite, scratch, or hiss. They just sit there, looking fabulous and deadly. How dangerous can a frog be? Here's the kicker. These little amphibians can be lethal without even moving a muscle. Their skin is coated with batrachotoxin, a substance so potent that just 1 gram Vitoshak of it can take out 20 humans. Or, for dramatic effect, 2 full-grown elephants. Yeah, let that sink in. Among the bunch, the golden poison dart frog is the undisputed MVP of deadliness. Indigenous tribes in South America actually use this frog's venom to coat the tips of their blow darts. 1 touch, 1 breath, and your enemy? Game over. What's terrifying is you don't even have to be bitten. The toxin is absorbed through your skin. Just picking one up with bare hands could have you calling your ancestors, unless you're a trained scientist with gloves and a death wish. Admire the rainbow frog from afar. And remember, just because it's small doesn't mean it won't wreck your entire weekend. Or, your life. Some of these animals don't even need to touch you. Just being near them is enough. Others look you in the eye before deciding if you're worth the trouble. A frog with skin stronger than most weapons. An ant that turns pain into an all-day event. A snake so precise it doesn't waste a second. Or a drop of venom. And yes, even a deer that quietly causes more damage than creatures twice its size. This isn't just about survival in the jungle. It's about what happens when we underestimate the quiet ones, the small ones, the ones that don't warn twice. What these creatures reveal isn't just about danger, it's about perspective. We assume size equals threat. We expect warnings before risk. But nature doesn't follow those rules. A single step in the wrong place, a touch that seemed harmless, or just being in the wrong place at the right time. These animals don't act out of cruelty. They're not evil. They're efficient. And in a world where humans often feel untouchable, they remind us that we're not. Some of these animals are silent. Some are striking. Some don't even mean harm. But each one proves a simple truth. Danger isn't always loud, big, or obvious. It can be small, quiet, and standing right next to you. If this episode made you look at the animal world a little differently, hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories where nature surprises, teaches, and humbles. And don't forget to share this video with someone who thinks squirrels are scarier than snakes. Which animal from the list surprised you the most? Or maybe, which one would you never want to meet face to face? Let us know in the comments, and tell us what creature you think deserves a place in the next episode.